All right, bet.
Yo, 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 it's Jumpman T with Twisted Torch TV. I'm back again with another AFN affiliate. How you doing today, Jew Talk Sports, man? I like talking football with you, man. You know the game for sure.
Hey, man, it's good to be up here. Look, we on an early afternoon, so let's see who can get in here, man. Up real quick. But as always, you guys go hit that subscribe button. Jew Talk Sports, Jumpman T, Twisted Torch TV. Y'all know what it is. Y'all definitely go hit that subscribe button. And AFN, we on the road to 1,000. So AFN, definitely Atlanta Falcons Nation. Y'all go and hit that subscribe. They're on the road to 1,000. I'm on the road to 1,000. Hey, man, let's get to it.
Let's get straight to it, man. Also, I just dropped some content today. I dropped 2 videos. Go ahead and check out my page, Twisted Torch TV. Subscribe, like, comment, leave some comments on these pages, man, because we appreciate it and we gonna talk back with you. You know what I'm saying? But first, let's do a little shout out. Shout out to Terror Artist 404, another AFN affiliate. We gotta get on the game one day. Norman Fitzgerald, Toxic Falcons. Mad Mike Network, Grind Hard 2210, Atlanta Nation. Appreciate all y'all tuning in, bro. It's a movie. We got two of the best affiliates in the game ready to chop it up. So
Yeah,
our
man.
first topic, as we might as well get into the nitty gritty, is roster cuts. We gotta discuss this, man. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. I had the numbers. We gotta get rid of some of these players, man. I got 4 people in mind. For sure, one is James Carpenter. He signed a 4-year, $21 million deal in 2019, and if we cut him before June 1st, we save $4 million and take a 2.5 dead cap. So that's roughly like 2.5 we save. And in all honesty, I like that pick. We need as much money as possible to get some of these good people that we looking forward to. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. James Carpenter has not looked too good to me, in all honesty, in the past. Like, he's a good run blocker, but in all honesty, we've been like 30th in the run the past 2-3 years. So what has that really shown us? We haven't really picked up a level as far as keeping James Carpenter. I feel like we should go young, but how do you feel about Carpenter?
I agree with you. Like when we brought in Jamon Browning and Carpenter, I feel like both of those guys underperformed those contracts that we gave them. To be honest, when we first signed them, I was like, oh man, what are we doing? I felt like it was kind of reaching when we signed them. But then again, if you remember in 2016, we brought in Chris Chester and we
Mm-hmm.
brought in Andy. I really didn't agree with those picks either or those signings. And they actually turned out and they worked in our favor. Both of those guys were veteran guys as well, kind of on the back end of their careers, and they kind of worked out. So I kind of felt like Thomas Dimitroff was trying to do the same exact thing he did them and bring in some veteran guys, and it just didn't work out because I thought those guys were kind of washed up at this point. It just didn't work out. I mean, Jamon Brown has always been a turnstile to me. Carpenter, he had a couple good seasons in Seattle, and him and Dan Quinn kind of had a connection, because he coached in Seattle. So I think that's the only reason that Carpenter came over. But Jamon Brown, he
Mm-hmm.
was a bad player when he was with New York, when he was with the Giants. So I knew when we signed him that it probably wasn't going to work out.
And we gave them a lot of money in those 2 years. We gave them a lot of money.
Yeah,
James Brown last year, but Carpenter, it's your time, baby. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You had concussion issues, you had arm issues, man. It just you don't look good in that pass protection, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, and that's what we're good at. So if you can't be good at what we're good at, then it's tough to even keep you on the roster. Just being honest. And when you're playing guard, that is one of the most key positions on the offensive line because no QB likes pressure in their face. Any QB will tell you, I'll take a DN coming around the outside to compare to me having pressure in the inside because I can't step up into my throws. And a lot of times we saw Matt Ryan, he might be too short on the throw based on that pressure up the middle. So, hey, Asia Green, shouts out to you, man. I appreciate you. Shamake Bolton, Ricardo Allen. Okay, you want to bring up him? That was my next pick. I ain't gonna lie to you. Ricardo, you are the captain. I love your game and how it's expanded from 2015 when you took that free safety role and Dan Quinn pretty much set you up to see if you was gonna sink or swim. I think they thought you could be like an Earl Thomas type player, but the only difference between that is Earl Thomas has way more speed than Ricardo Allen does. But let's look at his numbers. He signed a 3-year, 19.5 million in 2018. We saved 6.2 million if we cut him, and we lose what 2.1 in dead cap. I'm sorry, man. Ricardo, it's time to go to the coaching. In all honesty, there's games where you make plays when we're looking good as far as the defense, but when the defense falls, man, oh my God, Ricardo, you look like you're just nowhere to be found. And in these past 2 years, when our defense was terrible, our problem was giving up big plays. And who does that kind of fall on? The free safety position, because you're the line of defense. You're the last person standing. How you feel about him?
I agree with you. If y'all been watching, our show, The Heavy Hitters, I'm a big fan of Ricardo Allen because he's one of them guys that got it out the dirt, got it out the mud. He's got cut and things of that nature and kind of battled his way back. And Dan Quinn, when he came in, kind of changed his role because originally he was a cornerback. So I like Ricardo Allen, but I do think that it's time for him. He possibly will be gone. He possibly will be cut because of his contract and because, like you said, his play has dropped since the injury. Since he had that lower leg injury, I don't remember if it was an ACL or an Achilles. Since he came, his Achilles. Yeah, since he came back, he hasn't been the same player. But one thing that I will say is in Dean P's defense, I think he would look a better if we kept him around just for the mere fact that he won't play as much single high safety. Like, when Dan Quinn was here, his main thing was we're going to play cover 3 and we're going to play that fielder single. And what you were just saying, Jumpman T or Twisted, with Earl Thomas, he had that range. Ricardo Allen really has never had the range of an Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is the borderline Hall of Fame player. You know what I'm saying? When he was at his peak, he was that dude. He was the best free safety in the game when the Legion of Boom was around. So he was like one of the best at freelancing, kind of like kind of like an Ed Reed, where he had those instincts where he knew where to go. He was a ball hawk. And Ricardo Allen, he's like a poor man's Earl Thomas. Like, he's never had the range that Earl Thomas had. Even when in 2016, when we went to the Super Bowl, nobody would ever mistake Ricardo Allen for Earl Thomas. You know what I'm saying? Like, Earl Thomas was that elite player. Ricardo Allen has never been elite. So I really think in Dean Pease, if we do keep Ricardo Allen around, I think we're going to see a lot more double safeties. We're not going to see a lot of that single high safety where he has to kind of guess and kind of freelance. Because playing that single high, we've talked about it even with a Dante Casey. Before he got injured last season, he was another player. We like, Casey, what are you doing? He will be out, missing his coverages and things of that nature. But it's like when you're playing that thing, you have to be very cerebral. You have to be really smart. And you have to basically have those instincts, kind of like a honey badger. If you don't have those instincts and you don't have that range and you're playing single high, you're going to get abused. And that's kind of what we've seen. So I blame it kind of on Ricardo Allen, but I blame it on the scheme as well. Like the scheme we was playing, we really didn't have an elite safety to play the single high or the cover 3 like we should have been playing it. And that's why teams was ripping it to shreds, to be honest with you.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. The thing about Casey, he's a little bit faster, and he has instincts on occasions, but he also can be had too. And since he's a free agent, and we don't know what we're gonna do with Ricardo, how do you feel about bringing back Dante Casey? If he's coming off an Achilles injury as well, I don't think he's gonna ask for a big amount of money coming off that injury. He's gonna have to prove himself again because he hasn't had 7 interceptions when he led the league since 2018.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would try to keep Casey. Like if we cut Ricardo Allen, I would try to keep Casey around because one thing I liked about Casey, he's kind of like a younger version of Ricardo Allen. And to me, he was more of a ball hawk. Like he was around the football a lot more as far as intercepting passes. Because we've seen Ricardo Allen drop interceptions. You rarely see Casey. If Casey gets his hands on the ball, he's going to intercept that thing. And sometimes he tries to take it to the house. Like he's one of those guys that's a game changer. And another thing I like about Casey a little bit more than I like about Ricardo Allen is he's a dog. Not saying that Ricardo Allen isn't a dog, but they call him Crazy K for a reason. We remember when he hit Cam Newton, and he's one of those guys that can be a wild card. Like he's one of those guys that's kind of like a tone setter. Even though he's small, We remember when Zeke Elliott ran him over against Dallas. Like, he doesn't back down to anybody. He's one of the smaller
Hey,
guys, kind of like a Ricardo Allen. He's not the biggest guy, but he'll go head up with anybody. So I give him that.
and he hurt his shoulder on that damn play too. Oh my god, that was a nasty one. I'm like, Ricardo, if you don't go low on that fella, don't sit there and think you finna you Keanu Neal tackling him like that. But I think
Yeah, man.
the way KZ's name is set, he plays like that. If he has a veteran leader that we're gonna get into in free agency, I think he could become like an all-star caliber type player. In all honesty, but my next person, as everybody may know, I don't know what we gonna do about this Joker here. Oh my God, Dante Fowler, um, you really put an L on us this year, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. You got paid a lot of money. 3 years, 45 million. Um, if we can't really cut him this year anyway, because we'll take a dead cap hit of 15 million, only save 3.2. To be honest, our best out to get rid of Dante Fowler is next year when we can save 15 million and only lose 4.6. So Dante Fowler is pretty much going to be on a prove it year, unless he just outs the coaches and gets frustrated and says he can't deal with them no more. That's the only way he's going to be out of that contract. TD, Mr. Bicycle Gang, you really screwed us on some of these deals, my brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looked like you weren't looking over the contracts. You were just ready to get them in Atlanta and say, forget it. We'll worry about that down the line. And it put us in tough situations with these contracts. But in all honesty, Dante Fowler, he has to prove it this year. I expect him to have a key year, especially coming off of Dean's coordinating. He's a great coordinator. He's going to find a way to make the best out of Dante. I also think if we draft somebody or bring in a free agent that I'm thinking about talking about down the line, we might be able to push Dante Fowler to be a better player. How you feel about that?
Well, you know what? I'm finna go with it twisted. Like, Dante Fowler is one of my favorite players on the team because to me, he a dog. I just think we have to build this defensive line around him. Like, when he came over from LA, they had a stacked defensive line. Like, you got Aaron Donald, you got Michael Brockers, now they got Leonard Floyd, but they've always had a deep defensive line over there in LA. So other than Grady
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett, like, what other impact players do we have on the defensive line? Like, other than Fowler and Grady, it really ain't anybody else on our line. Like Jacob Tuioti, Mariner, Steven Means, these guys are really like rotational guys. Like, these guys were starting because Pat McKinley didn't pan out, but really we don't have the guys around him. And I feel that was really the issue with Dante Fowler. I think it was the injury that he had, and I think that he wasn't being used in the correct way because we've seen numerous times last season where we would be only rushing three guys and dropping our defensive lineman in coverage. Like, the style of defense and the scheme that we were playing was just a terrible defensive scheme. So I think that Dean Pease, he's going to get the best out of everybody. Even if we keep players like Tuioti Mariner or we keep players like Steven Means, I think that Dean Pease will be able to get more out of these guys than we got out of the last coaching regime because they didn't know how to use these guys' strengths. And I believe if we
Mm.
build this defensive line in the middle, like a Marlon Davidson, Grady Jarrett, because if we be honest, a lot of people was jumping on Marlon Davidson, but he really didn't play a lot last year due to the COVID, him catching COVID, and then with his injuries and him and his conditioning, he really didn't play a lot. So I was like, I haven't really seen, nobody really knows what Marlon Davidson is yet. So I feel like if you put Marlon Davidson next to Grady Jarrett, we might already have the defensive tackle that we need. You know what I'm saying? I still would bring in another guy to play the zero or play the nose tackle position. But a lot of people are saying like Marlon Davis is a bust. But I'm like, we really ain't seen enough out of him to say he's a bust yet. I feel like we need to give these guys time to develop. And under this new coaching regime, what they teach because we all know we've been talking about it here at AFN. It's all about coaching. And the coaches that we had, we know that they weren't teaching these guys the right things. When your linebackers are leading the team in sacks, that's a problem. Period. Like, I don't care who you got on your defensive line. One of your defensive ends better be leading the team in sacks. And we had Deion Jones and Foye getting all the sacks every week. So that should show you, like, I'm not gonna lay that all at Dante Fowler's feet. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, everybody's saying Dante Fowler's a bust, but I just seen him get 11 sacks the year before with the Rams on a defensive line that had other players that were impactful. I can't really say that Dante Fowler. I'm at least give him 1 year under Dean Pease. If he doesn't have a good season this year coming up, then it's no excuses. But because we know Dean Pease, he basically stated that he's never been fired from a job. So that speaks for itself right there. That Dean Pease know what he's doing. So if he can't get it out of Dante Fowler, I feel like nobody can. So if he balls out, I think this is Dante Fowler's year. He got to prove this is his proven year. I wouldn't cut him yet because how many times have we seen players leave the Falcons and go somewhere else and ball? Like it happens. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't let this guy go off after 1 year.
Nah, I'm definitely not letting him go, man. He has to prove it to me. He signed a big contract. He said he wanted to come to Atlanta. The main thing he said he wanted to come to Atlanta for was Dan Quinn. But we also got to think about Atlanta. Atlanta is a city where you want to have fun at. So he's still a young guy, and he's looking to improve as far as playing on the field. So another thing I thought about due to this COVID situation and these injuries, I also wonder, was it enough coaching going on as far as on the field, as far as the pass rush drills and stuff like that? If you're having COVID situations, they're not really having to where they touching players and practicing the scheme and doing rips and power rush and bull. They're not really practicing that enough. So that might have been a reason to why the defensive line didn't get enough pressures coming out. But another thing that made us so trash on the defense was when it was third down, we knew we was only rushing 3 players. What you gonna do with that?
Right.
I literally watched multiple games versus the Lions in key moments. Matthew Stafford rolled out the pocket. It was 3 people rushing. What is that? Patrick Mahomes. 3 people was rushing on that third down 12. You cannot have that. That's the key thing about Dean. We know he's going to still blitz regardless of the circumstances. We had a lot of issues with that throughout our years of where we'll play that prevent coverage and people will take advantage of it. So we gotta get some better plays. I think Marlon this year will be better though because he'll have a spring training. You know, he came from Alabama. He was eating good, I'm sure. He played in the 3-4 scheme. I just feel like he has to get his physicality up, 1, and 2. He got to be able to play more snaps, man. He can't be getting tired that fast like he was. I was seeing him do like 3 rushing moves, 3 straight plays, and then he's out for a quarter. I can't see no improvement out of that. In all honesty, I can't. But my last person as far as roster cuts it has to be Alan Bailey. We could save $4 million in cutting, and the dead cat will only be $1.6 million. So I can see us going that route as well. How do you feel about Alan Bailey? I mean, I thought he was going to be a veteran presence to get the guys rowdy, but he's a little bit more of a calm type guy, and we got too many of those people on our defense, man. We don't got no head busters, the ones like Casey. Casey was out a lot of games, but Casey talks on the sideline. He gets his players ready to play, and we don't have that situation right now as far as that defensive unit.
Yeah, I agree. I was never a big fan of Alan Bailey coming in, but I always give players a chance. And he's been here, I think, 2 years now, and he flashes here and there. But to me, he's another guy that's like you said, a rotational player. He's not a guy that you want to have to count on. He's one of those locker room guys you have, one of those locker room vets. Like in the NBA, he's the 15th man off the bench type of player. He's not going to be a guy that should be playing game in and game out. And to me, that was my problem with the Falcons last year. It's like we didn't have enough impactful players. And that's what I was talking about. It's like, yeah, we had depth coming in, but it was like we didn't have the guys that we don't have starters. And I say like that, we don't have starters. Like the guys that were playing really supposed to be like second and third string guys. So if you got Alan Bailey on your roster and he's like the third or fourth string guy, okay, I can see him still staying around if he's going to take a pay cut, take the veteran minimum. But I don't want this guy like being the guy that's going to be starting or a guy that we got to count on week in and week out to be a dominant player. But that's not what he is. And that's what you just was saying. Like, he's basically he's okay. You know what I'm saying? He's not nothing special. So personally, I would cut him just because you can draft the guy to do what he was doing this year. You can draft the rookie to do what he was doing for us last year. So, I mean, to me, he's never been an impactful guy. Even when he was with the Kansas City Chiefs, he never was a guy that was like, this is that dude. You know what I'm saying? So when we signed him, I'm just like, this is just another guy that TD's bringing in that's just like a bargain bin type player. You know what I'm saying? A role player. He's not. If so, I definitely think that cutting him would be an easy cut. Like that's not something we need to debate.
I'm not gonna listen, guys. I'm not saying Marlon Davidson he went to Alabama. I know he went to Auburn. I'm saying in the South they like to eat, and he plays a D tackle, so he's eating good. That's why he was slow and not being able to do practices at training camp. That's what I meant. But we got a chat, super chat. We have to stop making excuses for our team. The defense and special teams are horrible. One thing I can say about that, in key moments, that is also true. But we also had games where that defense showed out. I'm not gonna lie to you now. The defense showed out versus the Chiefs. Them jokers only had 20 points, man. And they shouldn't have had 20. They should have had 14. AJ Terrell makes that interception. That's a clean game right there. Keanu Neal showed out that game. AJ Terrell was pretty good on Tyreek Hill, if we being honest. Tyreek Hill had like 2-3 catches for 50-something yards, and he got 30 yards on one catch on that little out route. So that shows. Oh, the Raiders game. Thank you, ATM 3405. The Raiders game they showed out 45-6. I mean, God, I don't know what to say about that. That's looking kind of nasty. And that was Fourier's game to show himself. He showed out. The first drive was a strip fumble. So I mean, we can't just say that it's here moments, but it's also coaching. But I special teams. Hey, you are 100% right. That special teams looks terrible. We haven't got a good kick since Kenneth Bonner 2 years ago versus the Panthers when he returned that touchdown, or Devin Hester back in the days. That special team has to get it done, bro. The Dallas Cowboys game, how you don't know 10 yards the ball is in play? That's unacceptable. That's ridiculous now. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But appreciate you, Jim.
Yeah.
You got something to say about that?
Yeah. First off, I want to thank him for the super chat. We appreciate it, Jeremy. But I agree with them, but then I kind of disagree with them. Like we're not making excuses. That we're not up here to make excuses for anybody. But sometimes these players are a product of their environment, and we've been talking about it numerous times. Like this coaching staff didn't put some of these players in spaces where they could succeed, and that's coaching. Like we know some of these guys can actually play, and I'll give you a prime example. We won't even talk about the Falcons. I'll go to another team. If we remember when Jeff Fisher was coaching the LA Rams, he was coaching Jared Goff, and everybody was like, Jared Goff is trash. This dude's a bust. Soon as he leaves and they get a new coach with a new scheme, they go straight to the Super Bowl. So one of two things is true. Either Jared Goff is really trash and was a bust, or that scheme that he was playing under with Jeff Fisher was trash. And I really think it was Jeff Fisher. His scheme was trash. He couldn't motivate them. We know the Super Bowl year we played the Rams. We blew them out by like 40 something points to like 6 or 7. Like we killed them. So, and he pretty much had the same players that Sean McVay had. He didn't have Ty Gurley, but they still had a lot of those guys that Sean actually had to go in there and coach. So I kind of disagree with when he's saying, that we got to stop making excuses for these players, because some of these players I think are good players. Like me and Mike always say, this team has talent. We have talent on this team. It's all about, and every NFL roster has talent, but it's about how you use that talent. You know what I'm saying? I think the biggest issue with our team is, we do need to add talent, because I've talked about it. The defensive line last year didn't have a lot of talent on it. Other than Grady Jarrett and Dante Fowler, the Jacob Tuioti Mariners and the Stephen Means and guys like that, Alan Bailey, those guys are just rotational guys. Those are not superstar players. But a part of coaching as well is developing these players. Because to me, I still don't know what John Cominsky is. And he's going to year 3 or 4? And I still don't know what this guy is. But part of that is he wasn't getting the snaps. Like, let's be honest. If they go do the percentages, John Cominsky didn't play a lot. He didn't play a lot to me. We played the same guys over and over and over again. And that's the problem. And me, Mike, we've all been talking about this. It's like the Quadre Olisons of the world, the guys that we haven't seen. What's the other nose tackle that we have? Deidre Sanai. He's another guy. We had him for what? Yeah, he didn't play. But I'm just like, we don't know what he. Yeah. So that's my thing, to say that these guys are bad players. I don't think we can automatically state that or say that these players got to step up. Some of these players weren't even given opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So
I actually like Kaminsky. I think he'll be good in the 3-4 scheme. In all honesty, he kind of reminds me of a JJ Watt before JJ Watt was JJ Watt. You just got to give people chances to make plays. And during these games, like I'll say one game versus the Dallas Cowboys. People might not know it, but Kaminsky, he got what, a forced fumble. He was getting a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott before they stopped playing. And it shows a lot of
Yeah,
times where these coaches make errors like that. They're like on offense, on defense. There's players that's making plays, and you take them out and sit them for a drive or two drives. I've never understood that as far as a coach. If he's killing, keep him in the game until he says, "Coach, I need a break." I'm not taking nobody out
right.
when we doing good. I'm just being honest. One thing we got another super chat. Hold on, let me get to it, bro. Let me get right to that. I see you. Appreciate that super chat, gang. What's up, fellas? Rise up. I expect our O line to make some serious progress under Arthur Smith, and I hope we address running back in the draft. Yeah, I think Arthur Smith, being the fact that he was an offensive lineman, he played it. I'm sure he's coached it before, and he's gonna know how to put these offensive linemen in better positions. Like if they're a run blocker, let's run block to his side majority of the time. Let's not go to the side. If I know Chris Lindstrom and I know Caleb McGrary can do a hell of a good job at run blocking, I'm running over there majority of the time. A lot of times when we noticed, we wasn't even running to their side like that. We was always running to the left
Yeah,
by Jake Matthews and by Carpenter. I never understood that, in all honesty, because I felt like our right side was much powerful than our left side. And
yeah, man.
as far as running back, yeah, I really do think so, bro. Second round, third round, there's a couple picks I like. Both North Carolina backs are fire. If you haven't checked them out, check them out ASAP. They are fire. They're gonna go under the radar because of the Clemson back and then Alabama's back. But check them out, man. They got some heat on their systems for real. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Arthur Smith, we've seen what he did in Tennessee. Like even with Taylor Lewan, who was the best O lineman, he went down with injury like midway through the season, and they still rushed. King Henry still rushed for over 2,000 yards. Like that goes to show you right there. That's all scheme. Because I don't think it's one Tennessee Titan offensive lineman that made the Pro Bowl last year, and that should tell you something. When you got none of your offensive linemen are Pro Bowlers, and you still rush for over 2,000 yards, that tells you that that's scheme. You know what I'm saying? That just tell you that's just scheme. And that's what I think the problem is. Like, I think he's going to come in here right away. That's why I keep telling everybody, like all of the Falcons fans, that even with these guys that we have on the roster, like Brian Hill, Ito Smith, Quadre Olison, the guys that we're kind of looking over, like I really believe if you give Arthur Smith these guys that we already have, they're going to play a lot better than they played last year because the offensive line is going to
Jew.
be able to create more holes for these guys to run through. And I also think that the guys are going to play a lot. And then, as far as the running backs in the draft, another guy I can watch is Chuba Hubbard out of Oklahoma State. He's another guy and he's electric. So it's a lot of running backs in this draft. You can go deep. You can go like the third or fourth round and wait for a running back because there's so many running backs in this actual draft that I think could come right in, step right in, and be the number one running back. It's all about scheme. Like we've seen, and you guys definitely go check out Twisted last video. I checked it out earlier. You were talking about Kyle Shanahan and Matt Breida when he was with the 49ers. I don't care who's toting the rock in San Francisco. They always run for 100+ yards, and that's scheme. Kyle Shanahan doesn't need a King Henry to run the ball, and that just proved that it's scheme. So I believe the same thing with Arthur Smith. A lot of people's like, well, we don't have a Derrick Henry on our team. Well, if you run a good running scheme, I don't care who you got back there running the ball. The scheme is good. You're going to be able to rush the ball for over 100 yards a game, even if you have to do it by committee. So I completely agree, and we appreciate the super chat, Andrew.
Hey, once again, man, subscribe to the channel Twisted Tours TV. Subscribe to Jew Talk Sports. Subscribe to AFN, Mad Mike, Country, K Styles. Hey, everybody on the AFN Nation knows their football, knows their Falcons football. So Check us out, man. Like and subscribe to our channels. Hey, we got Richie D in the back too, rocking the fresh ATL hoodie. Let me go ahead and bring him in real fast, so I can see it. So I can see what my man 50 Grand talking about. What's good, my brother? We got Richie D in the back too, rocking the fresh ATL hoodie. Let me go ahead and bring him in real fast.
What up, fellas, man? I know, man, I was trying to hop on for the longest, man, but I know you guys covered a lot.
Oh, we no. We ain't getting the free agency yet, brother. So you still
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I'm sure. Yeah. So for the most part, I know you guys touched on KZ. A lot of those other guys, I was a big fan of them. Like KZ was a good ball hawk. Like I know some people don't really want him back, but he led our team in interceptions, and I think he tied in the league for interceptions as well. So that was pretty interesting. I really did like that. So
2018, he was killing.
Well, yeah. So that was pretty interesting. I really did like that. My laptop is delayed. Sorry, y'all.
2018.
Yeah, you guys can touch on.
You gotta turn the volume down then.
I really did like that. My laptop is delayed. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, you guys can touch on.
You heard me, bro?
Background.
Okay,
bro.
Okay, I got you.
You gotta turn the background down. Yo, all right. So we got another chat, man. $5 new drop. Appreciate you, my brother. I see you a lot on the channel, bro. Shouts out to you. Side question. So Will McFadden somewhat expressed small doubts in Grady's fit in this scheme. I disagree with him. What you guys think? Listen, man. Will McFadden is a writer for Atlanta Falcons. He's actually seen the players, discuss everything with the players, so he knows what he's talking about. Me personally, I think Grady Jarrett can go in any scheme and fit, if we're being honest. The way his work ethic is, he doesn't mind learning from scratch. He chooses every year to get stronger, to get better at everything he does. So I think Grady Jarrett will fit with any scheme, in all honesty. And if we being honest, the 3-4, I'll put him at the DN position because we rushing linebackers anyway, and he's good at rushing anyway. So I would honestly put him there. I wouldn't put him at the nose tackle. I'll put Marlon at the nose tackle at the DN.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Like Grady, I don't want to say I disagree with Will, but I'll say this. I think Grady can play. When you're a baller, you can play in any defense. Like Grady Jarrett, I believe, is one of those guys that when you're like a top 100 player in the league, as far as defensive wise and just in general, you can put him in any scheme and Grady will ball out. Grady will figure it out because Grady is just a great player in general. Now, will we get the best out of Grady? You know what I'm saying? We might not be able to get the best out of him. We've seen that with this last coaching regime. That's what I've been talking about. It's like it's all about what you ask these players to do. Like I don't think it would be smart in a 4-3 to put Grady out there at defensive end because he has short arms. He has short area quickness. He's not a guy that's going to bend the edge and get around the edge. That's not what Grady does. What Grady does best is inside. He can use his short area quickness, use his hands, and do those swim moves and get around and penetrate in the backfield and get to quarterbacks and get to running backs in the backfield. So can Grady play any position on the defensive line? Sure. But if you want to get the best out of him, you want to play him somewhere on the inside, whether it's the 3 technique, whether it's the 0. You want to put him closest to the quarterback as possible because Grady has that short area quickness and he can get to the quarterback like that. Ask Pat Mahomes when he was back there running around trying to escape Grady. Grady's one of those guys where he can track you down. And we've seen it. If you guys definitely go check out Mad Mike Sports, he did a breakdown on Grady Jarrett. He showed Grady Jarrett, I think it was against the Chiefs, they dropped Grady Jarrett back in coverage. That just shows you how much range he has to be that big. Like Grady is just one of those guys, man. He's just a dog. So I don't care where you play Grady. He's going to always stand out because he's just that type of player, that impact player that you need.
And on that play, was that the one where they ran a screen or a short route and he ran to tackle him from the line of scrimmage?
Yeah. It was like a running back. Yeah, it was like a running back, a little option route. Yeah.
Yeah. Grady's good at that, man. He uses his speed and he doesn't give up. That's something you cannot teach as far as an NFL player. A person that doesn't give up and will try his best every time is way better than an athlete. Let's look at Vic Beasley. If Vic Beasley had that intensity that Grady Jarrett have, he'll probably be in the league still. So let's just call a spade a spade. But let's get into it, man. So let's go ahead and get to free agency. I got some people that I think we might need to attack. My first one, of course, though, I'm not gonna lie to you. He is a veteran, and we need him as far as his leadership. It has to be him. It has to be Patrick Peterson, man. Patrick Peterson is a warrior. He will guard your best player, and he brings his lunch every game, every Sunday. It doesn't matter who he's playing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Julio torched them, and I want to say that was 2018 maybe. He torched them severely. The next week he went out and had a hell of a game. So that shows me Patrick Peterson goes to the next play, goes to the next game. And just imagine having him added with AJ Terrell. We discussed how we don't have veterans in the background because a lot of our players are young. Like the oldest person we have now in the secondary is Keanu Neal. If we were to let go of Ricardo Allen, Keanu Neal would be the oldest person in the secondary. So adding Patrick Peterson, a person who can go in the slot, who can go on the outside, who can read routes to perfection and pick the ball off and return it. He's not the same, but at 31 years old, he can still make plays. Like the white friend he was when we went to the Super Bowl, he was old as hell. He was 37 years old. What did he do? He still went out there and made plays on occasions. Since we have AJ Terrell, we're not going to be forcing Patrick Peterson to guard the best player every time. That's the key. That's the key people might forget about. When you got two players that can do that, you can switch on them. So a player's not getting tired as fast. I can put Patrick Peterson up against Michael Thomas. I don't got to worry about that. Michael Thomas ain't going past Patrick Peterson. So it just depends on the matchup and who you play in and out Sunday for each Sunday. How you feel about Patrick P?
Hey, I call him 21 Reasons. Like, I love Patrick Peterson. Ever since he came in, I think out of LSU, 21 Reasons is a problem. That dude is a dog. Like, he's a dog. He doesn't have the range he once did, the speed and things of that nature, but you can't teach experience. You can't teach experience. We just don't have that experience on the back end. Like, people always laugh at me because I always talk about Bleedy. Like, Bleedy gonna make that play for you. How many times we see last year Bleedy come up with a game-winning interception or a clutch interception against Chicago? He did it 3 separate times. But that's because
Panthers, Chargers.
Yeah, man. We seen it. Like, he just knows where to be. He knows when to make, like, go in. I know this is the route they're finna run. Because a lot of the time he was freelancing. A lot of the times he was outside of his zone, and he was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna jump this route." I figured I think this is coming. He followed his instincts, and that's the same thing with Peterson. Like a Patrick Peterson, he's not the Patrick Peterson of old, but he still has enough left. Where I think if he came to Atlanta, he would definitely be able to help the guys like Sheffield. He'll be able to help AJ Terrell. He'll be able to help all of these guys that's currently on the roster, because the difference between Pat P and somebody like a Bleedy has never been a Pro Bowler. So when you bring a Pro Bowler, a bona fide star to your locker room, those younger players are like in awe of this guy. Like, imagine a player like AJ Terrell. He grew up watching this guy when he was like in high school or college. So a lot of these guys model their game after one of these guys that's already in the league that's a Pro Bowl style player. It wasn't nobody on our team modeling their game after Bleedy. You know what I'm saying? An average player. But if you're a guy like he was talking about Richard Sherman or Pat P, not only can Pat P still play, but he'll be able to teach these guys the tricks of the trade, the small things that you need to look for. When a wide receiver does this, you need to do this. He'll teach them how to react to certain things. He'll help them in watching film. This is what you need to look for, and he'll teach these players tendencies because he's been in the league, so he knows these guys' tendencies. How many times have he matched up with Julio Jones? It's been a handful of times. Like, even though Julio gets the better of him, he can tell these guys, AJ Terrell, this is what you need to look for when you're playing against a Michael Thomas. This is what you need to look for when we're playing against the Cardinals. If he joins our team, he knows what Larry Fitzgerald does. He knows what all the wide receivers on that side. He knows what a Nuke Hopkins would do, in certain situations. So I think that's how he could actually help if he were to join our team. And I definitely think if the price is right, you should definitely bring in a player like Patrick Peterson because I've talked about it. Me and Mike always say it's about timely stops. And Patrick Peterson is one of those guys where the big moments don't scare him. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we got them young players and they haven't been in big moments. Those big moments kind of scare them. But when you got veteran guys that's been in the foxhole and been in Super Bowls and in playoff games, those big moments don't scare them. And I think that you can't teach that experience.
And you know what's crazy about Patrick Peterson and Brady Way Wilson? How many times did you see Brady make a play and then he don't play for a long period of time?
That's what I was talking about. Politics.
How as a corner, you're leading with the most interceptions on the team, but you still don't get the most playing time.
It sucks. It's really more about like opportunity, really, in which you take advantage of that. You know, certain players, they just be asked out. Like sometimes, you know, they be a special teams player for their whole career, or they just a backup corner, you know, for their career, and that's just that. And that's what they're viewed as, which is sad, instead of being looked at what you done on the field, which was got a few game-winning interceptions for us as a backup corner. You know, but to touch on what you guys were saying, Patrick P would be great. You know, Dean Pease will love bringing a guy in like that, just being that we're gonna establish those blitzing. You know, we're gonna be blitzing in our corners and we're gonna be able to match up playing man. You know, so but at the same time, as long as the front four is able to get to the quarterback and apply pressure up the middle and from different angles, like what Dean Peeps is saying, you're not gonna know where it's coming from. So as long as you get an offense on their toes and they don't know what's coming, you know, sky's the limit for the defense.
I dig that. I also saw about the free safety move. Honestly, I think Patrick P would be good at free safety or at that slot corner. I think Patrick P can honestly play wherever he wants. If we just being honest, he ran a 4.3 in college. I think he still can run a 4.4. We like, there's not that many receivers that's that damn fast.
What year is he coming
up in? He's gonna be 31. You know, he's around the same age as
Julio. What, year 10 for him or something?
Patrick P is a dog, bro.
Yeah, something like that. I think it's like year 9 or 10 for Patrick Peterson. But I agree. If you can move him either way, that's a good point by New Drop. Like, you can change him like you did Charles Woodson, because that's kind of what I was talking about with Ricardo Allen. Is like, Allen has never had that range Peterson has. Like, Ricardo Allen has never ran a 4.3. You know what I'm saying? That's just to be honest about it. So Patrick Peterson, he's a ball hawk. Like, you put him at safety, a free safety, that might be a good idea. But it's just about what the player feels that he can do, because he might not be comfortable playing out in center field, or he might not be comfortable playing that safety position. Everybody thinks where just because a player is fast, you can move him from a corner to a safety. Sometimes it doesn't work out because you have other responsibilities. So you got to know the game to be able to change positions. Like, Charles Woodson is just one of the all-time greats, and that's why he's getting ready to go in the Hall of Fame. So Pat P might not know the safety position. Yeah.
What'd you say, Rich? I couldn't hear you.
I said, I thought he mentioned Charles Woodson. I thought Charles Woodson was in the Hall of Fame already. I was surprised he wasn't in yet.
Yeah. Charles Woodson made a ton of plays, bro. And a person I think can move to free safety, I don't know if how y'all feel about that, is my next pick. I think Richard Sherman might be good at that free safety role, based on the fact that he loves to tackle and he has the eye in the sky. Richard Sherman can see anything. Like, he knows how to watch throughout, from the QB to the receiver to the tight end. He knows how to jump routes. He's exceptional in that type of play. And with him being able to play free safety, he don't got to worry about getting them stop routes on them Achilles, because you know he just had an Achilles injury, so he can't play outside no more. He has to move to free safety, if we being honest. Patrick P can still play outside majority of the snaps. Richard Sherman can't do that. Richard Sherman has to go to that back end and excel in that back end if he wants to continue to play for 2 more years. How y'all feel about Richard Sherman, though?
Sherman, I feel like it depends. I feel like he lost. I was just talking about this with one of my boys. I feel like he lost a little step or two on far as like keeping up with these receivers and stuff like that. These guys are getting faster and talented with his routes. Like, I don't know if y'all seen that Super Bowl game, but Tyreek hit him with a little sauce. But keep on what you said, was him putting him at safety. being able to put yourself in the right position. You know what I'm saying? Which is key. Where it's like you don't have to be the most athletic, but if you are the smartest player and you're familiar with these route concepts and knowing where to position yourself, you can be successful at that. So I necessarily wouldn't mind it possibly at free safety.
How you feel, Drew?
I think what he was what Rich was saying, he can put himself in positions to possibly succeed if we put him at a safety role. Definitely not at corner because he just lost his ability to run at this point. He lost his range. But I think it depends on what the price is. Because if it's out of him or Patrick Peterson, I'm taking Patrick Peterson every day of the week. But as far as Richard Sherman goes, I could see him actually going to a place like Dallas because, he's a Dan Quinn disciple as well. He played with Dan Quinn when he was with Seattle. And I think I could really see him being a Dallas Cowboy over Atlanta Falcon. I don't know what kind of connections he has with a coach like Dean Pease and with Arthur Smith and things of that nature. I think he would be looking towards either staying in San Francisco or going somewhere like Dallas. I could easily see him trying to go and join the Dallas Cowboys. But I do believe what you guys are saying is correct as far as he has the knowledge. Richard Sherman, for a guy to go to Stanford, he used to be a wide receiver when he was in college. He started off as a wide receiver. That's the reason he has those ball hawking skills where if he gets his hand on the football, he's going to intercept it. And that's one thing I like about Richard Sherman is he's a big-time playmaker. I just don't think he has the ability to run anymore. So if he is at that safety role, he's definitely going to have to use his brain. It's going to come up here. It's not going to be because of his athleticism anymore. It's going to all have to be because of his IQ. And sometimes, like you were saying, it's just about knowing where to be, being in the right place at the right time. So I wouldn't say no to Richard Sherman. I would just say the price has to be right. Like if he's trying to get the bag, then no, I ain't bringing Richard Sherman in. It's a wrap. If he's trying to get the yeah.
Would you say, Rich?
I was agreeing with Drew. I was saying it exactly, mainly with the cap as far as where we're at, even though we would love to have Patrick P and we would love to have Richard Sherman and where we're at with the cap and where we want to be far as short term and as well long term. I do believe far as looking in this draft, I know we're talking about free agency, touch on the draft. There are some corners in this draft as well as free safeties. We just got to get on them that can make an immediate impact on our defense. I'm telling you, there are numerous guys in this draft, I'm telling you, at corner that we could get them in the later rounds or so. Impact players. I'm talking about impact as in immediate impact and helping out. Where it's like we're going to win short term, which is next year, as well as building towards the future, letting these guys develop, get that experience, and get that Super Bowl.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I like Asante Samuel Jr. as far as like a third round pick. I think he'll be a good key contributor out the gate as far as that corner, especially coming back to Atlanta where his father played and had some exceptional games where he picked six some things. You know what I'm saying? To end it. Oakland Raiders. We all remember that game. That was one of the toughest offensive games I've ever seen. Asante Samuel ended it with that pick six. So I know Asante Samuel will have it to where he's going to have those instincts to be able to see what QBs and offensive coordinators want to do to him. But like y'all said, man, I'm picking Patrick Peterson over Richard Sherman. I'm not thinking twice about it. But my next person, I think for sure, if we get him and this 3-4 scheme, it's going to change the game. I like Ryan Kerrigan, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Ryan Kerrigan is one of those type of players that shows up regardless of whatever situation he's in. The Redskins was terrible. But who do you remember the most on that Redskins defense before they started getting those first-round picks? It was Ryan Kerrigan. Even taking a back seat to those starters like Marcus Sweat and Chase Young, he still managed to get 5.5 sacks this year. So imagine what he's gonna do in a Dean type role where he runs a 3-4 anyway. That's what he's been playing. So I think he'll be an impact for us, especially helping Grady Jarrett and especially helping Dante Fowler establish some better pass rush moves, man. Because we got to get good as a unit, and he would bring that front seven together for sure if we get him. How y'all feel about that?
Yeah, Drew.
Gonna take it, Rich. Okay,
Yeah,
with Ryan Kerrigan,
yeah,
I love Ryan Kerrigan. I love Ryan Kerrigan. He's one of those guys. You guys know I grew up in Virginia. Now I live in Florida, but I grew up in Virginia, so all we got was Redskins games. Like on Fox, that was the team that they, the closest to us. So Ryan Kerrigan, I pretty much watched his whole career. That dude is a beast. He's a beast. He's basically like a pass rush specialist. Like he knows how to get after the quarterback. He knows how to use his hands. He's not the most athletic guy. He knows how to set up pass rush moves. He has multiple moves, and that's what we've been missing. Like he knows how to use the speed rush. He knows how to bull rush. He knows how to act like he's gonna go outside and jump inside on that. And that's something that we need on this team. We've been missing that veteran leadership and a guy that understands setting up pass rush moves. And that's what Dante Fowler was trying to teach Tack McKinley that just wanted to bull rush. And he was telling them, you got to have a counter move. When they're locking down to prepare for that bull rush, just run right by him with the speed rush. Like, you have to mix it up. And one thing about Ryan Kerrigan, that dude is a dog. He has a high motor. It's a hot motor. And he's a guy just like a Grady Jarrett that never gives up on a play. He's a guy that's going to chase a running back, chase a quarterback that's escape the pocket down from behind and try to knock the football out. So he's a guy that you love to have on your team because he's a guy that has high character. He's a high character guy in the locker room from what I've heard. So I definitely would love a Ryan Kerrigan on our team because I believe that he's a guy that'll play with his hair on fire. He kind of reminds me a little bit of when we had Brooks Reed because Brooks Reed was one of those guys we had in 2016. He would come in and he could come right in and get a sack right off the bench just in rotation. And that's what Ryan Kerrigan is. At this point in his age, he's not a guy that you're going to play multiple snaps, like 80% of the snaps, 70% of the snaps. But he's a guy you can bring in on 3rd and long or in those 2nd and longs because he understands what to look for. He understands how to take advantage of offensive linemen because he has that leadership and he has that experience. And I keep talking about that experience portion. You can't teach experience. Like any of these guys that we're going to bring in the draft, it's hard to come right out the draft and have 10 plus sacks because the game is different. College and the NFL level, the strength of these players from college to the pros, most of these guys in the pros have nutritionists. They have guys that's helping them when they lifting weights. They have their own chefs. So these guys are in tip-top shape. These guys in school, you got to remember, these guys in college are not professionals. So it's a whole nother level when you go to the league. So Ryan Kerrigan definitely be a guy that can teach these guys how to be professionals. He'll be able to help guys like Marlon Davidson understand how to stay in shape. And if you guys seen Ryan Kerrigan, every time he gets a sack, he flexing his muscles. He's like a WWE wrestler. When you look at his body, his number one move, he used to be a wrestler when he was in college. So this dude is a beast. I would love Ryan Kerrigan. At the right price, definitely bring in a Ryan Kerrigan because we need that specialist that can come in. You can play him on the inside or the outside, and he can take advantage of these offensive tackles.
Yep. Twisted, I would say that, like, I appreciate you, brother, like, literally, for even bringing that man up, just to the fact that, in free agency, we know, and also looking in the draft, we know at that position, it's not so much guaranteed dogs or guaranteed guys. And we know what Arthur Smith want or what we want to bring to this team. We want to bring tough, physical, smart players, that's going to play sound and give maximum effort every time. So I think that's one main key position that we need to address in free agency more than cornerback or DB, from my opinion, how I believe. I feel like that's a main priority that we should address in free agency, is specifically towards that position. And you brought up Brooks Reed. I remember when he closed out that game for us in Chicago. That was getting close. I'm like, we probably needed that for the Detroit game. Shit, where the fuck we use that for Detroit? Shit.
Detroit, Dallas.
I didn't even know he was. I didn't even know he was still in the league, bro. I didn't even know he was still in the league until he got a sack. I think he was playing for Buffalo last year. Like, I looked up in the playoff game. I'm like, that's Brooks Reed? I didn't even know Brooks Reed was still in the game. That dude's still out there getting sacks. And this dude is 10 years deep in the game. But that just shows you, when you have those skills, it don't matter how old you are. And that's what Twisted was just talking about. When we had Dwight Freeney, he was in his late 30s, and he still was out there getting sacks when he joined our team in 2016. So age don't really matter.
37 to be exact.
Yeah, he's 37. Exactly. When you know the technique, when you know the techniques, that don't matter. Age doesn't matter when you got the right technique. It doesn't matter.
And one thing that I didn't mention as far as Ryan, he bats the ball in the air a lot, and he gets interceptions. Even versus us in 2012, he batted the ball and picked it off on Matt Ryan and stiff armed to score a touchdown. Like, this guy knows how to win games and comes up in big times of the game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ryan is one of those players that he's gonna teach and he's gonna do on his own. He's not a show type player. He wants to do both. He wants to get the whole team excited, make a play, flex on them real fast, and then get back to the next play. That's the type of players we need to change this dynamic as far as this defense around. Like, people are saying that they want to go in the draft and pick up people. Listen, ding, ding, ding. The draft only works in certain positions, guys. I hate to tell y'all this. Draft only works in certain positions in those first 2 years. Players have to grow. Like he said, they have nutritionists in the pros. When you're looking for a DN, it's rare you have a top 10 DN besides Chase Young. He just proved us wrong. That can go out there and just be from start to finish a key Pro Bowl type player. It doesn't happen at that position like that. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a running back. A QB has a chance to do that. Sometimes guards have chances to do that. But you're going to struggle at certain positions. That DN position is not easy to come to from the college to NFL ranks because college players are weaker than NFL players, as Drew Talk Sports just said. Like, it's not that simple as y'all think it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I know you guys were talking about Marlon Davidson earlier. I do expect to see Marlon Davidson when he comes back full healthy and have a good official offseason training. I do expect to see him at DN position, mainly in the 3-4 at end. Just being the simple fact that Dean Pease and Arthur Smith, they're going to use these guys to their fullest strength on what they do best. And if you've seen the Marlon Davidson's film, we mainly seen him applying that pressure from the outside, right? From the edge. So it's just like he even spoke about it at times at camp when he was moving him at inside. He felt a little uncomfortable and stuff first year, getting used to the speed of the game and all that other stuff. But I do expect to see him at least getting a few snaps at that edge position. And I think we'll be able to see more out of him on what fans would want to see. I'm just putting it out to being that he's a versatile player. I would love to see him at inside as well, but edge is what he's number one.
Yeah, he did that a lot at Auburn, and it showed he was able to get pressure, get strip sacks, do all that. So Marlon Davidson might be a key player for next year. I'm hoping. Like, I feel if he comes into his own and he comes into camp in great condition, good shape, it might be a wrap for you guys, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's a hard worker. If he comes like that, Davidson is going to be a key contributor for next year. Let's go ahead and hit on these backs, man. One person I like is James Conner as far as being in this offense. I think he needs to change the scenery a little bit. And if he comes into that Arthur Smith offense, like Drew said earlier, it wasn't about Derrick Henry. It's about the scheme. And I feel like if we get him or if we go in the draft and get a running back, they're going to take advantage of these opportunities that Arthur Smith is going to put him in. Like, how many screens y'all think we ran to the running back last year? We didn't run that many.
Probably 3 or 5, guaranteed.
That's not – you can't have that. You have to keep defensive linemen guessing. Like, you can't think they're going to come and rush every time and then you don't throw a little screen to boost them. Like, you got to make these defensive linemen guess to see where the ball is actually going. And with James Conner, I'm not going to lie to you, he scores a lot of touchdowns when he's in the game. Like, he's key in that red zone, and that's something we miss. Besides Todd Gurley, them first 7 games, Todd Gurley was phenomenal as far as scoring touchdowns. But towards the end, that arthritis kicked in. I think James Conner would be an addition compared to Todd Gurley. I mean, if we get Todd Gurley, we keep him, oh well. But I think James Conner could be a good picker for us. How y'all feel?
I like James Conner. James Conner is a tough guy. You know, he has a nice story, crazy story, you know, as far as for what he overcame. And bringing guys like that to your program just gives it a plus, you know. Yeah, so pretty much I like him. He's a hard runner, you know, he knows how to get upfield, hit the edge, make a move or two. He's physical, he's tough. When you talk about that, you do see that on tape. Just to correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to get too much off topic, but is Chris Carson, is he a free agent running back?
For Seattle, right?
Yeah, is he a free agent?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think they might resign him though.
Yeah, similar to that aspect, like those two guys, I wouldn't want to compare them as much, but I would love to see Chris Carson as well. You know, seeing that vertical aspect of getting upfield and just knowing how to break tackles. That's nothing about James Conner. Sometimes I have seen him to know how to shed guys off and get upfield. So, yeah.
Mr. David, man.
How I feel about James Conner.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, twist it.
I was going to tell Mr. David, like, I understand what the GM and the head coach has said, how they want to move forward with young talent. If you look on their defense, we don't really have older guys on that defense. So I don't know what you mean by that. Allen Bailey was the oldest person we had on that defense last year. Based on most of the people we picked was for defense. This is the first person I picked on offense, and that's James Conner. And James Conner's like 26 years old. So he's still young at the end of the day. He still has some tread on his tire. So we can give him a chance on a prove-it deal and see what he does. But as far as older players, you need veteran leadership to win games and to win in the playoffs. I don't know who told y'all that all young players win in the playoffs. The Arizona Cardinals did not make the playoffs. They got a young squad. Tom Brady is what, 40-something? I don't know what y'all mean by old players. Like if they're still under 35, they're not old at certain positions. It depends on what position they play.
Yup.
Get them twisted. Hey, this is what I feel about James Conner. What y'all think about this? He already on my roster. His name is Quadre Olson. Quadre Olson is James Conner.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
that's a fact. You're right.
Like, look, when we drafted Quadre Olson, and I pulled up his highlight tape, I was like, hold up, is this James Conner? Because both of them guys played at the University of Pittsburgh. But if you go cut on their tape, go cut on their highlight tape after this show, it looked exactly alike. He wore the number 30, and they look exactly alike. So I'm like, okay, we got us. Like, as soon as we got Quadre Olson in the draft, I was like, okay, we got us a James Conner. That's who he reminds me of. So I don't technically think that we should get James Conner. I just feel like we got a younger version of James Conner already on our roster that we don't use. Like, my biggest thing is, why bring in another veteran running back when we don't use the running backs we have? At this point, Brian Hill's a veteran running back, Ito Smith's a veteran running back, and you dang near can say Quadre Olson going into his third year is a veteran running back. He just don't play. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like this point, unless we're just trying to bring back Todd Gurley because we felt like we did him wrong last year and we didn't use him correctly, I'm not bringing in veteran. Drafting a running back, and I'm playing the veterans that we got. I'm playing Quadre Olson. He gonna be James Conner for us, and I'm playing Ito Smith, and I'm playing Brian Hill, and then I'm just bringing in a young guy because we already have veterans on this roster. I don't really think we necessarily need to bring in a veteran running back unless they just want to have somebody, that's done it, that's rushed for 1,000 yards. But I really feel like Brian Hill, Ito Smith, and Quadre, and then you bring in a rookie, that's enough right there to get you over the hump. I really don't think we need a running back. I really think that we need to save our money for to bring in one of the veterans on the defensive side of the ball. Like, I'd rather have like a Ryan Kerrigan because we're capped, we're strapped for cash. So I wouldn't even bring in a running back at all. Like I said, unless it's Todd Gurley because we didn't do him right last year, I'm not even bringing in a veteran running back at all. I'm saying the guys that we got, we trying to re-sign them on a limited deal, maybe Brian Hill. We're going to tell Quadre Olson, you're actually going to play this year and suit up every week and not be on the inactive list every single week. And then I'm bringing in a young guy. I'm not even signing a running back. I like James Conner, but I don't think we need him because we already have somebody like him.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Utah. What school did Allison go to?
He went to Pitt.
That's the same school.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, they went to the same school. They were on the roster at the same time.
Yeah, they both went to Pitt. Yeah, they both went to Pitt. Yeah, they both went to Pitt.
You're right. So forget James Conner. Forget I mentioned him. Let's just use Audrey. Let's use him as much as we can. He had 7 TDs 2 years ago. So I don't know what Dirk Cutter saw, but I mean, when Todd Gurley was going down, I'm putting him in. Like I still don't know why he didn't get that many carries, bro. It doesn't. It's baffling to me, man. It's crazy. I don't understand it at all.
I do think the way how what's his name, former friend, Dirk, Dirk Cutter, how he was in the run schemes, it wasn't creative at all. You know, I do think Todd Gurley was not being used the right way, and I wouldn't mind seeing him coming back. You know, depends what the Falcons want to do, but if they do decide to pass up on him and we get a running back in the draft, we, you know, if it's you got Najee Harris, you got Etienne, you got the running back from North Carolina, like how you mentioned, those guys now that I just brought up, they break tackles. Now it don't matter what scheme they in. I guarantee you, if one of them, if any 3 of those running backs that I just mentioned, they was on our roster last year, do you guys think you'll see more production in the run game? What y'all think about that?
Nah, man, it's Cutter. Nope. Cutter's a.
All right, so it's Cutter.
He's an airhead. He's an airhead for sure. Like Cutter should have been on Beavis and Butthead, man, because the stuff he does does not make any sense to me, dog. Like,
because typically you've seen Todd Gurley when he was on the Rams, a lot of zone schemes. You know, typically what we did was similar to Kyle Shanahan, little toss. You know, those fake counters and stuff like that. We didn't get none of that. So I wouldn't mind seeing that again with Todd Gurley, giving him another shot, another chance, and we'll see from there.
Yeah, we gotta talk that up. Hey, yo, David and Mad Mike Sports, y'all are hilarious, bro. I'm in these comments wilding right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about this. So Gabriel, Mr. Turbo Jet himself, tweeted and said he wants to come back to Atlanta.
Wow.
He should have never left, if we're being honest. We should have kept him. But, I mean, he wanted to get paid, so power to you. He went to the Bears, and the Bears' offense is nowhere near. And this is what I be talking about. This is exactly what I be talking about Matt Ryan. Like, y'all say Matt Ryan is this, Matt Ryan is that. How many people have Matt Ryan got paid? Just put that into play. Hooper got paid big time, and we should have kept him. We could have kept him too, but hey, that's how it goes, man. Like they go to different schemes, and their stats tend to die down. Hooper didn't do as good as he could have in our offense last year. He did okay, but he could have been way better. Like the Browns have a lot of playmakers, and he kind of looked non-existent at times. Taylor Gabriel. He went to the Bears, and I rarely saw him because they end up drafting somebody who plays just like him in Miller.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if we have that speed these past 2 years when he was gone. We didn't really have speed like that to where they can take the ball on the screen and go 40 yards and juke everybody. We haven't had that type of speed in a long time. Taylor Gabriel, if he wants to come back, and it didn't look like he played that much last year, so he hasn't took that many tackles. He was putting up film of him in the Super Bowl when he faked out your boy Malcolm. So let's see. I mean, let's see if he's gonna take the minimum. Let's bring him back because Turbo. I love Turbo, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I love Turbo, bro. Turbo's fire, bro.
To answer you, Jump Man, I'll be honest because I've been telling y'all, I've been looking at guys in the draft and all of that. If we really need a Turbo, like honestly, we can draft one. I'm being completely honest with you. Unless you said unless he willing to take his money, unless he wants to get something lower, right, far as money wise for his contract. But when we drafted Calvin Ridley, we already replaced him. You see, we got a brand new 18, man. I'm good. I'm honestly good with Taylor Gabriel. You know what I'm saying? We can draft the Taylor Gabriel in the draft. Like literally those type of shifty, tweaky guys, little Tyreek Hill 2.0s, them freaky fast motherfuckers. We can get them. You know what I'm saying? There's numerous guys. You got the guy from Purdue. You got Puka, whatever his name, from Kentucky. You got Florida kid. It's a lot of them short, tweaky motherfuckers. Yeah.
I like him from Florida. Jarvis Baldwin asked, can Please, somebody answer this question for me. What kind of compensation should we get for trading away the number 4th pick? All right, so that all depends on who is willing to give us the number 4th pick, and it depends on where they're at in the draft. If they don't have a first round pick, I'm straight. If they're in the top 15 or the top 20, we can do that. You give us your first round pick, a second round pick, and maybe a third or maybe a first in next year's draft. I like those odds, to be honest, but it depends on where they're drafting that, man. If they're in the low 20s or in the high 20s, they got to bring the farm. When we drafted Julio, we gave up a lot, so I expect the same thing. Especially if they get a QB, I expect the same type deals.
I agree with you. I mean, it just depends on, like you said, what team is it that's moving up, that's trading up. Like we can't really name what the price is because usually it's the team that's asking to move up. We can tell them what our price is once we see what team that is and how far back they're already drafting. If they're somewhere in the 20s, then it's going to be a big price to pay. Either way, it's going to be at least a number 1 pick and probably a couple number 2 picks and a 4th or a 3rd, maybe for this year, next year, quarterbacks. And we know some teams going to want to jump up where we at because of the quarterbacks that's in this draft. A lot of these quarterbacks, this is one of the best years to draft a quarterback. So it's going to be a team that wants to trade up with us. I don't know what team it's going to be, but I'm sure somebody's going to want to trade up because of the quarterbacks that's in this draft and because of the offensive line talent that's in this draft. Because it's not a lot of elite offensive linemen in this draft, but it's some elite players. Like we keep talking about Penei Sewell. I'm sure some teams that's in the teens and the 20s that's gonna want to jump up even for like a Penei Sewell, not just the quarterbacks. So we got to keep looking for that as well.
That's a good point, Drew, and that's why I feel like I would want to stay at 4. Just the simple fact that let's get our all-pro guy, and it's worth it, and it's a great investment for winning right now as well as winning for the future. But now, as far as trading back, I'm cool with the trading back too. But just as long as we get our guy, I feel like we will put ourselves in a bad situation if we trade back and we don't really get our guy and somebody just fucking take our guy right in front. I just want to get trade back not too far. I can't. Nah, we got to be in the top 10, top 15 the most if we trade back. That's all I'm saying.
Another super chat.
Go ahead and read that for us, man. I'm laughing at Big Country Low. He crazy, bro.
What he said? Rich getting naked for the 4th. Yes, yeah, he been saying that. I'm being honest, and that's real value. And I ain't gonna lie, like I'm gonna get carried away, but I don't care. I'm saying like Najee Harris at 4. I don't care. Najee Harris is a playmaker. He would, son. I'm not even gonna get in my bag. I'm not. I don't care. Kyle Pitts, what? I don't care if that's too high. I really do not care. If that player is gonna produce greatness and make an impact, and when you see something special, I'm talking about Hall of Fame quality. I'm talking about like future. You talking about Terry? Talking about you want to be wasn't it Ozzie Newsome? You know what I'm saying? You take chances. You're gonna do certain things that most teams don't expect you to do. But. We'll see. We don't know what they're thinking.
How y'all feel about this?
With the $5 super, I just want to read this $5 super chat real quick. New drop, we appreciate it. He said Jalen Darden, North Texas, Shifty City. I have to shout him out. His film could be that one like that. So I guess he's one of those guys that y'all was talking about, like a Taylor Gabriel. But I had stepped out for a second when y'all was talking about Taylor Gabriel, and I just wanted to touch real quick on that too. Because I did see it was some rumors out there that he wants to come back to Atlanta. We have a guy in Zacchaeus that's similar to him already on the roster as well. People forget Zacchaeus got hurt last season. Zacchaeus is one of those guys. If you go cut on his tape when he was at the University of Virginia, he was a guy that returned punts. So one of you guys on the panel, I got a question for you guys. Why, when we have these shifty guys on our roster, we never use these guys for punt returners? We always talk about how bad our punt returns are. Like last year, we had Brandon Powell. Even when we had Taylor Gabriel on our team, we didn't allow him to return punts.
Didn't even use him.
If y'all remember, we had Weems returning punts. Eric Weems was our returner. Even when we had Taylor Gabriel, he was returning punts. I don't never understand why we have these guys that are shifty and they have experience returning punts. We never use them. Like I thought we drafted Zacchaeus to be a punt returner.
I remember we
use him as a receiver more than a punt returner.
Rich, don't bring that fella up, bro. Rich, don't bring him up, bro.
He mentioned punt returner. He just mentioned punt return. So I'm saying it's like he's so right on that. But I remember we using what's his name? Justin Hardy as our punt returner at one point. That shit had me weak.
That was the dumbest move I've seen by a coach in years. Like, it had to only be to secure the catch every time. And during that year, we had terrible field position majority of the time. Like, people don't understand how much special teams is important in the NFL, bro. When we had Devin Hester took the worst offense to the Super Bowl, man. Like, do y'all forget that? Like, he was the key person to scoring points. It was either him or the defense back then. Like, punt return, kick return, that matters, bro. And they've already made it tougher for people to get tackled in punt and kick returns based on how they're making it for safer for the players to play. So that matters, bro. New drop, I appreciate that. I'm gonna check him out, bro. I gotta see who he is. If we can get him and I see him, I'll shout him out.
Yeah, but to answer your question, Drew, honestly, I really don't know the reason why we don't use these guys as punt return, even though they're coming in with this as a specialist at that. But Brandon Powell was the guy for us. He can go. Like, after I seen one game, I forgot who he was playing, but he just ran an out route, and somebody just pushed him to the ground, and it was just like, all right, bro, you're done, bro. Like, you can't be falling like that so easy in the NFL, just running routes, even though shit happens, you slip on routes or whatever. But we talking about punt returning, so I haven't seen so much of an effect within the return game, and I think we can draft somebody at the receiver position or whatever he is. If he's an athlete and he's just special, he can be a specialist in punt return / kick return, as well as making an impact for us on offense.
Once again, guys, shout out to everybody that's watching us right now. Subscribe to all the channels, Jew Talk Sports, AFN, Twisted Torch TV. I just dropped some dope content, 2 videos in one day. Check them out. AFN, Mad Mike, Jew, Country, K-Styles. Hey, we need the help, man. So continue to support us. We continue to bring out dope content to you guys. But my next one, I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this one, man. I saved it for the last, the best for the last. How y'all feel about JJ, man? How y'all feel about JJ coming to Atlanta, bro? I don't feel like we have the money to get him. I feel like he's gonna want to go play with his brothers in Pittsburgh. I can see that for sure. So, how y'all feel about JJ, man? Like, I think the 3-4 is good. It'd be beneficial for him, but I don't know if he wants to come to Atlanta. I can see him going to Pittsburgh. Or I heard he hit up Tom Brady to go to the Bucs. Like, it's crazy. Oh my God.
I hope that's not true.
People are scared of competition, bro.
I'm not scared of it. I'm happy Tom Brady's in our division. Shit, I ain't scared.
How you feel about him, though?
I made a whole.
Who gonna how I feel about how? All right, so I'm saying this guy JJ Watt, man, he's a great dude. Like, I would love to have him on our team. We talking about a guy that needs to be, that should be and could be in the Hall of Fame right now as we speak. JJ Watt is a Hall of Famer type of player. As long as he can stay healthy, by all means, why not, baby? Come home. Come home. It ain't like 99, come home. You know what I'm saying? But he's a Walter Payton Man of the Year. We talking about a guy that's tough, physical, smart. You can line him up anywhere on the field. That's a guy that's going to make an immediate impact on our team and help us out with Grady. You can line him up inside. Now, him and Grady together, oh my God. Oh my goodness. That would be amazing. But, who knows? I've been hearing that Buffalo and the Browns, are interested in him and stuff. Our Falcons haven't came up on it yet, so we'll see. That's my take.
It's probably a wrap, bro. Go ahead, dude.
Well, I did a whole video on it on my channel, so y'all go check it out. But personally, I would love to have JJ Watt. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I video because I seen he was being released, and I'm like, hey, Atlanta, we need to get on this because, like Rich was saying, Grady other spells trouble for Tom Brady, whoever, especially Tom Brady, because you can put both of those guys on the inside and Tom Brady's a sitting duck. Man, we would have a crazy pass rush if we had those two guys together. But I don't think it's going to happen. What they're saying in the chat is right. I think it's going to either be Green Bay Packers because he's from Wisconsin. Him and his brother both played at the University of Wisconsin. So I could easily see him trying to pair with the Smith brothers, Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, the two Smith brothers, and put him in the middle with the other guy that they have. What's big number 97? I forget that plays for Green Bay. He's a good player as well. They got a good defensive line up there in Green Bay. So I can see him trying to go back to Wisconsin because that's where he's from. Or I can see him going to Pittsburgh and playing with TJ Watt because they have a contract negotiation right now with Bud Dupree, who's a free agent. So depending on if they lose Bud Dupree, it's possibly going to end up being the deciding factor on whether the Steelers can sign JJ Watt, depending on how much money he's looking for. Unless he just takes a discount because his brother plays there, I think they might give Bud Dupree the bag. So if they give Bud Dupree the bag, then I could easily see him going to play for the Cheeseheads or the Green Bay Packers because he's from that area and he possibly at this point in his career might want to go home because he's familiar. And the Green Bay Packers he said he wanted to play for a contender, and Green Bay is right there. They was right in the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row, a couple passes away from being in the Super Bowl. So I could easily see if he goes to Green Bay, he could possibly push them over the hump, to be honest. If they would have had J.J. Watt this year against Tom Brady, they possibly would have got to the Super Bowl.
Hey, Tail Sports and Gaming said it was Clark, the D tackle for the Packers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 97. Yeah, Clark. There you go.
I had one person that I wanted to add to the list, but I just wanted to add him just to clown him. Kevin King, Mr. Grabby Patty. Bruh, oh my God. You're a free agent, right? You played 11 games, 1 forced fumble, and 6 pass breakups. Like, that's not going to get you that bag, fella. And then the fact that you weren't even able to give A-Rod a second chance to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl by you doing that terrible grab on the 4th string receiver. I don't know why they had him in the slot. I don't know what that was, but Kevin King, we don't need you. He reminds me of Robert Alford. I'm straight on him. And I just wanted to bring that up. I just wanted to put that into play one good time. That's all I had to say about Kevin King.
I hear you, bro.
How y'all feel about Kevin though? I think I don't think he's good enough to be with us either though. In all honesty, I don't feel like he can help us.
I'm saying if you comparing him
we
to
good
Robert
on that.
Alford, yeah, that's what I was saying. We good. That's was like if you mentioned Robert Alford and you mentioned I'm straight, bro. Like I'm good. Kevin King showed little highlights of certain good plays, but he's just not as consistent as how I would expect him to play as.
You want to add something, Drew? Because I'm finna hit this comment if you don't say nothing.
Yeah, I just basically would say with Kevin King, like you guys know if y'all been watching Atlanta Falcons Nation, definitely go hit that subscribe button. We're on a road to 1,000. But if you guys been watching any of our shows, especially the shows that I've been on, I'm big on pass rush. Like I prefer pass rush over top end talent on the back end. I feel like you can survive in your secondary if you have an elite pass rush. Prime example is the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers don't have prime time cornerbacks. They just don't. Like I'm an Auburn fan. There's 2 starting corners are from Auburn. I watched pretty much all of their games. Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean. They're all right players. They're not Pro Bowl type players. And they had Antoine Winfield Jr., who they drafted, who I wanted the Falcons to draft, who's a baller.
I like him.
But
him.
Yeah, but the other kid that they got, I think his name is Whitehead, the other safety, they really don't have like ball in their secondary. Other than Antoine Winfield Jr., the other guys that they have are average. So I feel like unless we're getting Patrick Peterson, I would just draft another corner, whether it's in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, And I would try to build this pass rush. Like, pass rush is premium. We need the pass rush. If you look at the Buccaneers, they stack their defensive line. You got Shaq Barrett. You got Adama Sue. You got JPP. If we do that, you seen Pat Mahomes was running for his life. You don't have time to take advantage of those corners. The reason our corners were burnt toast last year is because we had no pass rush. So when a quarterback got all day to go to his third and fourth option to look around the field and scan the field, eventually they're going to be able to expose whatever your weakness is. But Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, they couldn't expose the weakness of the secondary for the Buccaneers because that pass rush was so vital. You know what I'm saying? So if we got a lethal pass rush, I'm not even worried about the secondary. So it's a definite no with Kevin King. Like, no, you're not bringing in no Kevin King. Like, no.
He's trash. Dumpster juice. But Brian Collins, Robert Alford got a pick six in the big game. Can't hate on the man. You're right. We cannot hate on that man until the fourth quarter when it was 3rd and 15 and he played volleyball with the football. We were supposed to have the ball and run the clock out. He batted the ball in the air so Mr. Edelman can test the ball on his fingertips. Man, I don't want to hear about no goddamn Robert Alford. Don't talk to me about him. No. Without Desmond Trufant at that last game, he showed his ass. I'm sorry. I can't dig it. That secondary and that last drive, oh my God. I don't even want to talk about it. Let's not even bring that part up. I don't even want to get into that. Oh my God. Don't even bring that. I don't even know why I brought that up. Hey, Big Low Country said,
hey, Twisted.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to bring it back. I'm trying to bring it back, Lo. I'm trying to bring the waves back.
Nah, I just wanted to cut in real quick, Twisted, when you were talking about Robert Alford. I'm one of the biggest Robert Alford fans, and he better than Kevin King. But at the same time, like you said, he was grabby. He was grabby. I'll give you that. He was grabby. What made Robert great was he was a player that he would jump routes, and he was a playmaker. Like we talk about, me and Mike talk about it all the time. When it's time to make a play, you have to make a play. Timely stops. He didn't make the timely stop in the Super Bowl. I don't blame it all on him though, because I think if you go back to the 16 year, I think Robert Alford kind of gets a bad rap. But if we be honest, he was our number one corner that year because Trufant went down with injury in like game 6 or 7. If you guys remember, Trufant didn't even play the Super Bowl. So as much as flack that we give Robert Alford for like he was grabby and he sucks, and Robert Alford got a second contract with the Falcons for a reason. It was because he was a guy that would jump routes and make interceptions and turn them into touchdowns. And also, he was a solid cornerback. Was he a Pro Bowler? No. But to me, I feel like him and Desmond Trufant, both of those guys were just average players. Like, I feel like when Desmond Trufant was here, he would never get the same flag that Robert Alford would get because Robert Alford started to get all of those flags thrown on him. And I really feel like a lot of the flags that Robert Alford got were, okay, he got the reputation of being a guy that was grabby. So even when it was something that was ticky-tack, it's like, if it even looked like he grabbed somebody, they was going to throw the flag on him. So in Robert Alford's defense, I do think that he was a guy that was a solid cornerback here in Atlanta. I just think that we need to put some respect on the man name. Kevin King is nowhere in that dude's stratosphere. Kevin King I don't even think Kevin King has ever picked off a ball and took it to the end zone. So Kevin King is not even in the same. He's not even in the.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you though. Robert Alford in 2017, he did his thing. He deserved to be a Pro Bowler that year for sure. Versus the Rams
that year.
Versus Sammy Watkins. Oh my God, he had tight coverage in that playoff game. Him and Desmond, like that was probably their best year as far as being corners for the Falcons. But to be honest, we haven't had a key corner since D'Angelo Hall, since Dion. You know what I'm saying? Like people like that. I think AJ Terrell is going to be next up. Brent, oh my God, that's another person we shouldn't have let go. But his wife was talking crazy on social media. That kind of ruined it. But yeah. Brent Grimes was another person that if we would have had him in 2012, we had him, Asante Samuel that year. Oh my God. That was our year for our defense, bro. 2012 with Brent Grimes, like we had 3 corners that year, and Brent Grimes got hurt that first game. That's the year we went 8-0. So imagine if we would have had Brent Grimes playing in that playoff run too, because Brent Grimes, another person that can pick routes or C routes, disguise route, and jump the ball. Like his athleticism was crazy. Like we thought Brent Grimes was a bust. We got him in like the 5th round, 6th round. So you can find corners in that draft if you are able to have good scouting going on in your GM office. Yo, somebody said RP Vincent Jackson. Y'all wild. We borrow money to sign players. Hey man, I was wondering the same thing, bro. I'm wondering, like, is Arthur Smith dad gonna donate some money to the Falcons, bro? Like, we need that bread, bro. Like, if you want your son to start off his coaching career as a head coach good, throw some of that bread to Arthur Blank, man. We need it ASAP. We need it ASAP to contribute ASAP.
Yeah, man.
I'm saying, guys, free up some room. I was in the chat the other day. I pretty much as we speak, I believe the Falcons is still to see what guys can fit in what specific scheme.
You breaking up, Rich?
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
I was saying right now in the chat. I was saying evaluating the roster and stuff, trying to get the guys because we know our team is going to be completely new. You know, they're still trying to evaluate to what where does it fit. You know, I do see. I don't see a lot of guys come back.
He was going in and out, Rich. We couldn't hear what you said, bro.
What'd you say?
I was saying, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm saying that Falcons right now are reevaluating the roster and some guys are won't fit as well in our specific scheme. So see, because I cut some guys because I know we want to sign a lot of people, but we know a lot of guys on our current roster right now they're gonna get cut. Is what I'm saying.
Oh dang, bro! Vincent Jackson did pass, bro. RIP to Vincent Jackson, bro. He just passed today. That's crazy. I did not know that, bro. That's crazy. Sorry to hear that, bro. So RIP to him. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully his family is doing good. That's a tragic situation, bro. Man. So do y'all have anything else y'all might want to talk about, bro?
Nah.
I think we pretty much hit on everything. At least all of the free agents that y'all were talking about. I'm thinking, I just want to ask you guys really quick, what players y'all think that we should bring back? And I'll start and tell you guys what players I think we should bring back, but I kind of want to ask you guys what players we should bring back. Go ahead, Mike. Mike's in the building. What's up, Mike?
Mad Mike.
Y'all trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing right now, huh? Hey, the Swamp is in the house, man. I gotta say this, man. You gotta check out Kicking It with K Styles tonight. Myself and obviously K Styles, but we're gonna get down, kind of answer a lot of you guys' questions, man. So I just wanted to say Vincent Jackson indeed just passed away. So hey man, everybody go to Twitter and just all the social media platforms, just send that man condolences, his family, and you know a lot of his teammates, man. This is one of the years, one of the periods in time where we're gonna look back in 2020, 2021. We're gonna say, hey man, we're blessed, and you got to take every moment in for itself and not take things for granted. So me personally, I've been through my own tragic, I won't necessarily say tragic, but I lost my mother, and just want to be thankful. And like I said, man, Atlanta Falcons Nation, as well as, you know, Utah Sport, Twisted Torch, Rich, Miss Maggie T, Jessica Styles, Big Low. All right, everybody, man. Just continue to give us nothing but the truth, the facts, and the love that you guys always give us. So, man, that's why I want to say check us out tonight. Kicking it with K Styles, man. Your boy K Styles. I'm gonna be sitting back. I'm gonna be sitting back, minding my business, just doing whatever K Styles tell me to do. So, but yeah, that's what I want to say, man. So I appreciate it. But I'm going back to the I'm going to the back. I'm going to the back. The show is over. I'm going back to the back.
Appreciate you, Mike. Yeah, man. So prayers to Vincent Jackson, his family. Make sure y'all shout him out on social media platforms, man. It's a tragedy what 2020 and 2021 has been for us. So, like Mike said, man, keep hope alive. Remember every day like it's your last. Make sure you have fun and enjoy your time on this earth, bro. It's not promised. But I appreciate you guys for joining me, man. I know this is a middle of the day type thing. Somebody said we should have started like an hour late. I'll keep that in mind for next time. This was just something we popped up out of the blue and was like, let's get on here. Let's talk some Falcons football. And I appreciate Rich. I appreciate you, Talks, for being on. Matt, Mike for jumping on as well. It's crazy, man.
No doubt. Hey, are we doing our last little just plug real quick, or what we gonna answer some more questions? Twisted.
We can ask some questions. Everybody in the chat, if you got some questions you want to ask, we'll go ahead and answer them as well. But while we wait on that, let's go ahead and break it down. Like I said, man, I just dropped some fire content. Subscribe to my channel. We're trying to get up to 200, man. It's a blessing, honestly, to be able to be where I'm at, and it's also a blessing to be an affiliate of AFN. So make sure y'all stay in tune for some more crazy content. I'm looking at some interviews coming up. So y'all might want to stay in tune, man. Twisted Torch got some knowledge for y'all, so lock in.
All right, man. With that being said, first off, man, Rep Vincent Jackson, man, rest in power. Hey, we definitely got to show this man some love, man, on social media. Give these guys their flowers while they're alive, man. Whoever it is, we got to show each other love, man. That's what it's about. Valentine's Day was just yesterday, and like Twisted was saying, man, life is not promised to us. So we got to give everybody their flowers while they're still here, and do what you love, because you never know. You can be here one day and gone the next. So definitely, I feel for him and his family. Shout outs to him. But with that being said, you definitely go hit that subscribe button at Talk Sports. We're on the road to 1,000. Hit that subscribe button at AFN. We're on the road to 1,000 as well. Twisted Torch TV. Big Low. Definitely go to his channel, Big Country Sports. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Just K Styles tonight, I believe at 7 p.m. they'll be doing the show as well. So y'all tune in. Mad Mike Sports. He's on the road to 10K. So you guys definitely hit that subscribe button for the big homie. Rich, I appreciate you joining. Shout out to Red Clay Sports, Magnus, all of you guys, man, in the state of New York. Shout out to you guys. I know y'all be getting a lot of snow and stuff like that, so y'all stay safe up there. But with that being said, I'm gonna kick it over to Rich, man. But that's all I pretty much had. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us on this early afternoon. Like he said, it was just a pop-up show. He said he want to talk some Falcons football, so I just jumped in with him, and man, I enjoyed myself. You got it, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Rest in peace, Vincent Jackson. Show that love, love. I love everybody. Right now, AFN is a family. Like what Drew said, I'm all the way in New York right now. Everybody in chat, everybody over the world right now. But look, here in the chat right now, in the video, talking football, just showing love to each other, and that's a blessing. Obviously, subscribe to AFN. Everybody that AFN, the channel. Soon Rich TV soon coming on the works. Just throwing something out there. Working slowly but working. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Hey, you want to plug in the show that you and Magnus talking about doing?
Oh yeah, me and Magnus, we still working on the name. We're on. Not yet.
Bet. Well, shouts out to everybody that joined us, man. It's always a movie to be on here, bro. I don't see any questions right now, so we're gonna go ahead and end it. Stay locked in for that 7 o'clock with Just K Styles. You know K Styles is hilarious and he knows his football, so lock in. That's gonna be a hell of a show. I promise you that. Especially with Mad Mike. That's gonna be hilarious. So stay locked in, man. We appreciate everybody in the comments. Go back to your regular Monday, and we'll see you when we see you. Twisted Torch TV, Drew Talk Sports, Richie D. We'll holler at you, man. Be safe out here. Shouts out to you.